Listen
Welcome,
only.
everyone. Thank you for taking the time today to join us for our 9th episode of STEM STEAM activities at home or in the classroom. It's technically a scheduled event, but nonetheless, it's our 9th episode. We continue to share great hands-on activities, including the ones we're going to be doing today. Today, we're going to be focused on flashy designs, which is awesome, right? With that said, now I'm going to pass over to the presenter, Josh, who will be our main presenter today.
I'm on camera.
Who's apparently on his phone.
I'm sorry that I'm responding to customer messages and also messages from my wife. So good times. We're currently looking at getting a portrait made of our dog in a classical outfit below as a Christmas gift to ourselves. So on that fun note, welcome to this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday afternoon. I am Josh, and over to my left is the wonderful Pete, who you might hear in the far background giggling.
Hello.
You can't hear, he's so far away. We're in our studio here and going to do some fun arts and crafts day because today is Wednesday and it's a little over a week away from Thanksgiving. And then it's, just a hop, skip, to jump away before all the other winter holidays. So we should be well prepared, like a Boy Scout, well prepared, or a Girl Scout or whoever, a 4-H member. Scout. It's Scouts. Anyway, good times, everybody. If you have any questions, make sure you throw them into that chat window and we'll get that relayed to me presenting, because better to ask questions like when it's happening than at the end. Other people might be thinking the same thing as you. And if you want some more information on these fun events, you can find all those at this wonderful area here. Oh, there it is. Oh, there we go. Good times. NascoEducation.com. You can follow them in all these fun things. Nasco Educate. Pardon me, I was having some soda too. And if you have questions for good old Jordan, who was on the line before, he's the official dude from NASCO you want to chat to, email him at engage@nascoeducation.com. Jordan's the guy. So questions about buying stuff, getting things, supplies, custom items, whatever. Jordan's the guy. He's pretty nice. Also, because we're all here in Wisconsin, we have to be nice. Wisconsin. So today we're going to be doing some papercraft kits because the holidays are coming up quite a bit, and there's tons and tons of downtime. I know in a classroom setting at the end of, well, any chunk of time before a holiday, that day or two before an actual holiday happens, a lot of kids are gone. And plus, we kind of want to bring in some fun arts and crafts science projects to engage the kids and have them take something fun home for the family. And so we're going to show you a few of these activities, that things we literally just made today. Pete over here was actually just making a couple of these up this afternoon before the thing, but Jordan will be having copies of all these files for you. Let's switch to our overhead camera. There we go. Enough tall, Josh. There we go. So these are all things that can be made with our paper circuits kit. This is a kit that Nasco carries, both a small and a large version. If you want to, say, do home distance learning options, there's a larger version of this that can easily be broken down into smaller bits of material for the kids to take home with the tape, the LEDs, and batteries. Very, very quick and easy to throw into a Ziploc baggie. Send home with kids along with a template. That's one of the nice parts about it. And it's a very, very cost effective as well, being only a couple of dollars per child per activity to give the materials. And that's a really great thing this time of year, both for distance learning or classroom learning, or all of us who are on a budget. I know, because I was that teacher a while ago. The paper circuits kit. So let's get into what the projects we have in front of us here. So these are actually 3 of the 5 things we're showing off. We're making a couple more today. So we have a wide variety of different holidays represented, because a lot of kids might have different needs or come from different backgrounds, and having a lot of options for kids to choose from is always handy to have in the classroom. Now, I like doing this because we can have 50 kids choose 50 projects, and the rubric is the same, the learning objectives are the same, and the end results are the same, no matter which of the templates they choose, which is the nice little ownership aspect of it, personalization, customization for the kids. For instance, Pete made up a very nice Happy Kwanzaa card yesterday, an event I'm not horribly familiar with. It's a cultural holiday, but made a nice, very simple papercraft card here that you could print out. With all of these cards we've made up and other holiday activities, both these and the other ones that we've done in the years past, we tend to always have 2 different versions. One that has a nice printed colored version of it, and also another one that's just black and white. So then the students can color and decorate with markers, colored pencils, crayons, etc. And the real electronics aspect is this right here. And again, giving them choice, giving them some options, having them do the arts and crafts aspect. So if you're a art teacher wanting to bring in STEM to a classroom, or a STEM teacher wanting to bring a little art in your classroom, here you go. So a nice little Kwanzaa card here. We have a nice little generic Randolph, the royalty-free reindeer here. Again, a black and white version of this that kids can color in and decorate very easily. This works pretty well in general. I always try to recommend using like 30-pound cardstock-ish. That's pretty inexpensive and kind of lightweight paper still, but a little heavier than that standard printer paper. For cards, it always is nice. But again, very simple on the inside here, and you can have a nice holiday message. Again, simple to facilitate, simple to do with the kids, and then it's also simple to expand on as well. Now, Pete also went a bit further and made this extremely awesome polar bear. Pete, why did you make a polar bear?
I like bears.
Pete likes bears because bears are fun. Start with the letter B. I have a toddler. He loves bears too, but a polar bear because it's a nice generic wintry animal. Put a little bottle of Coca-Cola next to him. He becomes an advertisement. We also have a couple other ones here too. I just want to show all these off before we get making one. We also have, to round everything out, we have a very nice Hanukkah card. Same idea as the Kwanzaa card and the Rudolph card, one LED, and also a very nice manger scene here as well. Again, black and white versions so they can decorate and color it. These are all pretty basic, straightforward cards to add just a little fun to things. So we're going to make a couple of these up to show you how easy they are. And also, you can take these same ideas. I've recommended this over and over again to teachers. You can take this exact same idea, the same basic template, especially get that middle school, high school crowd, and like, hey guys and gals, make your own card, figure it out on your own. Here's some examples of how the basic circuit is done on the inside, which is the same pretty much for all of them. But have the kids design their own card up, have some templates as examples, but do their own thing as a holiday themed card. Again, the rubric can just be design your own circuit, check. Did you explain it in your little student write-up page? Check. Did you poke anybody with a pencil? Yes or no? Check. And did you half-heartedly decorate it? Check. I love a good rubric. It's also fun to say. But having the kids design their own cards, especially with like an on and off switch, is kind of fun to do, which can be a very easy, simple circuit. We have lots of examples of that that Jordan can give you access to. But these are fun cards to do. And doing cards this time of year is a very, again, easy and inexpensive way of doing things. So let's break out the materials and show you how easy this is to add some lights to your next wonderful craft activity. But by the way, too, do any sort of like winter holiday crafts out of paper, cardboard, foam, felt, our tape and LEDs, just pop those on left and right. It's really easy to do. And our really cool nylon conductive tape just sticks to everything. So the materials we'll be needing for any of these things, like any good paper circuits project, will be your standard CR2032 batteries. We love these guys. They'll make 2 or 3 LEDs light up pretty well. Then you're gonna need some of the maker tape. This is our nylon conductive tape. Copper foil just doesn't tend to cut it these days for a lot of the activities that especially we're doing. So nylon conductive tape, we have this in all of our kits and also by itself on the Nasco website. And lastly, we like to use our very fun jumbo LEDs. These are nice big 10mm gumdrop sized LEDs because they are huge and they're really easy, especially for smaller hands to manipulate because of their physical size. Never go with small LEDs, people. We recently saw somebody like, oh, here's a bunch of small LEDs. I'm like, that's so sad. Little 3mm, which is less than 1/3 the size. They're small, they're piddly. They're just not as interesting. And honestly, the cost can be about the same for you. We also, our LEDs, special factoid, if anybody cares, they have built-in resistors on them. We don't tend to advertise in any of our literature, but they're there. And especially when you make circuits with more than one color, having resistor in the mix makes it work better. Otherwise, one color will light up and another one won't due to the differences in how LEDs are made. So we have LEDs with built-in resistors. Fun, yeah. They're handy, and it really does cut out some of that little like, why does one thing light up and not the other thing? Which is a question we used to get ages ago when we had kits without resistors on them. And I know it's a question we get from teachers making some of our activities with their own materials. Why is this working and why is this not working? Well, it's the type of parts you have. So built-in resistors are really, really, really handy when using multiple LEDs, which we're not going to be doing in here. Additionally, our kits do come with color changing LEDs, which might be one of these guys might be color changing. They look the same as the white. Nope, this is white. Color changing, they just add power to it. It slowly changes color from one to the next to the next. Andy, our curriculum writer, was just showing off. He made a very nice like multi-layer translucent star with a color changing LED in it for the holiday season. And it's very nice color changing in the hallway. Like, why are the lights off? Andy was doing fun stuff. So of course you need some scissors for this, and that's basically it, and markers, colored pencils. So let's just grab, no, let's just, here. You know, I'm gonna grab the bear. The bear is most interesting of these guys. So we're gonna need yourself battery. Let's make our bear have red eyes. Maybe he's a possessed bear, or he's a bear who hasn't yet had a change of heart yet in the Christmas story that he's in, holiday story. You know, he's a grumpy bear. So like many of our projects and using heavier paper, you have to poke the legs of your LED through the paper. Now we're using some pretty heavy paper here for video work. It looks a lot better than the thinner stuff. I've used a safety pin or a paper clip to poke my holes through here. Probably do just fine with the legs of the LED, but every time I don't, I end up looking silly on camera. I do that enough as it is. There you go. Now, before you ask, like, hey Josh, I'm really a arts and craftsy person. What if I did your bear out of felt or other fabric? You totally could, because your tape will stick just fine to it. You could seriously do this out of some felt material. Would work really, really, really well. Just the thicker the felt, the better. So anyway, on the back side, we have our diagram here. We have positive and negative. Now LEDs, like all diodes, because these are light emitting diodes, LED, you learned something today, have a long leg and a short leg. Like this picture right here. Long is positive, short is negative. That's important. So one thing you can really mess up on projects with more than one LED. With just one, you can flip the battery around. With two, you got to change things. But we do have things lined up here appropriately. So make sure you just put them in their appropriate way. We're just going to fold the legs over. Some time ago, gosh, this was a long time ago, Pete, we actually made some 3D like paper gingerbread houses, like holiday ones. That's another fun project. It's very similar to this, just you make a three-dimensional house, which is a good one. If you don't want to make gingerbread houses out of gingerbread, out of say cardboard, for instance, I know that's a fun thing for teachers to do, cardboard gingerbread houses, less sticky. Adding some LEDs in there, especially ones that already look like gumdrops, good idea. So there's this. Yay, we've added the LEDs in. We have done most of the work. Now we're going to take some of our fun-filled maker tape that we have right here. We're going to drop it down the center here. Now, Pete, are there some actual written directions for this or just a diagram?
Oh, yeah, I have a printout somewhere on the table, I think, for this as well.
Oh, yes, there's a full printout with actual directions. I'm just not having that out here. A small window here to work in. So we're going to lay this tape down. Now, the cool thing about our maker tape is it's conductive on top and bottom. So you can see right here, we're just going to overlap it on the battery at some point. We're going to put our first LED down, or sorry, our first piece of tape down. I'm going to start from the top. And being conductive on top and bottom, I can just run it over the top of the LED legs, like so, press down nice and hard. If you want to be really, 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 really thorough, you could put the tape down, legs on top, another piece of tape on top of that. But I say that's a wasted tape. Just do this. It works 99 out of 100 times. Just a little press or two is all it takes. Ta-da, look at that. It's stuck down. Now, Peter, we're gonna do a tape loop.
You got it.
We gotta do a tape loop. So this is the whole tape conductive on top and bottom thing. So unlike copper foil tape, which typically isn't conductive on the bottom or is very fragile, this being nylon tape, super strong. Good old maker tape. We can just make a nice tape loop and stick it on the bottom of our battery or where the battery is going to go to hold it in place. Now I made mine way too big. I'm just gonna roll. There you go. Put that down right here. Stick my battery on top, and look at that. It's now electrically connected to the circuit. Hey, if I was the Fonz, I would do that because we're in Milwaukee, land of the Fonz. Oh, and Laverne and Shirley. Let's not forget them. And then we just have to run our tape down over and over, and we're good. Now, people are probably asking, hey, Josh, there's no on and off switch to this wonderful circuit you made. And you know what? You are totally correct. You can make your own or have your kids design their own. There's a couple ways of doing that. That little up and down paper flappy tab here, I love to do that. Or you could just remove the battery or peel the tape off because the tape tends to come off and back on, especially smooth surfaces, quite a few times before it loses its stickiness. It's good stuff. There we go. See, I cut my nails last night, Pete. Always right before live stream, like, I gotta cut my nails, they're so long.
You cut your nails more than I wanted to.
I have long, my nails grow quickly. A lot of keratin. A lot of keratin, Pete. There we go. And we're just going to go over here. I'm just going to cut my tape. There we go. And so we're just running on top. Now, most of the time, you'll want to run one piece of tape up, cut it, do the same over here just to make life easy, but this also works quite well. And look at this. We've got Unhappy Bear at the beginning of the Christmas story. He's grumpy, or holiday story, whatever. Kwanzaa story, Hanukkah story. And we got Bear afterwards. He's a happy bear. He's having a good time having a Coca-Cola, or maybe the other way around. I don't know. So that's as easy as that. And holiday crafts like this are great. We have a Rudolph template around somewhere as well, which is very similar. It's a couple layer papercraft option, but adding this to say even like other cards you might have already, or generic cards you get from Dollar Tree, is another good way of adding some extra pizzazz to something that's already fairly inexpensive or clip arty. So we're gonna put these aside. We're gonna do a card next. Oh, that's right, a card. So let's just grab, I'm gonna go grab this. Yeah, let me yellow, but I'll just use a blue one. It looks good on camera. So same idea. You're gonna wanna just poke a hole in everything in the top of the card. We're just gonna add some tape on the backside. Again, most of the rubric or most of the lesson is centered around decorating things and personalizing it. The electronics should be the easy aspect, instilling in the students' confidence and just how simple it is to do a lot of lighting and whatnot for projects. That's what I like about these things. It's just like, oh, this is easy. It's just arts and crafts. I can do this, as opposed to electronics being alligator clips, wires, and breadboards and big bulbs. If you keep it down at their level, then they realize it's not that tough to do, and it really isn't. And really, this is no different than wiring up your home, just, a lot less dangerous. Less likely to burn the place down. No, it translates well into larger format. So we've done this again. We have a positive, negative on here. So positive is on the right. And if you want to add some more, say for instance, you want to take this one in particular a bit further, have the students design a circuit that uses more than one LED on here, or design their own switch to turn on multiple LEDs. That's a good one for Kwanzaa and Hanukkah, designing different switches on the back to turn different LEDs on different days, being a part of that event. There we go. So there you go. Ta-da, positive, negative again. What a good time. I'm gonna do the same thing with the tape loop coming down and over. And yeah, doing that. We have directions on here too, and a bigger direction set. But I would say the winter holidays are and Halloween, really, it's quarter four is like the easiest quarter of the year to light things up with LEDs and paper circuits, because literally anything. Ages and ages and ages ago, my parents asked me to light up a really, really old manger set they had with LEDs, because it was really old. It was a big incandescent bulb that had burned out ages ago. And I was like, sure, I can solder things together. And it was really horrible. I found it a couple of years ago, like, wow, I can't believe how bad I did on this. I think to myself, it'd be so much easier if I just threw a bunch of maker tape on the inside or on the back. Would just gone on pretty easy, because it's wood and metal, so it wouldn't harm anything. Add a couple of LEDs and a very simple paper switch. Oh, it's gone. We had a big paper switch we made the other day, a big paper knife switch and slide switch. So we're gonna do this, but you can add this to anything. Andy, that big star Andy was making, was going to be a Christmas decoration that we're going to make up an activity for this next week. You're probably once again saying, Josh, it has to cost at least dozens of dollars a child. I'd be like, no, you're wrong, random hypothetical teacher out there. It does not. It ends up costing like $1 or so per child. In this kind of format right here, it's about $1.50 per child per activity with the materials, maybe a little less, depending on how much tape you give them for the activity. There you go, and we can make a little flappy on and off switch here if you want to. Yay! Then just add a little more maker tape to it. And when we get really, really fancy, you can combine this with an activity we did with Jordan on this Nasco live stream about a month or so ago, making a dark detecting circuit with a transistor. So you could turn on, say, a card or decoration, bringing it back to things people have done before, when the lights go out, like an automatic night light or automatic on and off for a decoration only turns on when it gets to a certain darkness. And that's a really great way of combining something like that, or combining switch making. Ta-da! There's a blue LED above the manger. You could put 3 wise men on the side. Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye, and Carl Sagan. I guess 2 of those are astronomers, so that would kind of work. But anyway, so holiday crafts like this, again, are the most simple way of doing these activities, these paper circs activities, and really kind of doing a nice end cap if you're already doing some circuitry things or have done them already, to bring that information, those lessons, those activities back into your classroom and apply them to something new. So that's it. Pete, anything to add on all these wonderful, we're kind of cranking out a bunch of holiday things right now just because we want to put some new things out there for teachers who might be wanting to do some activities, especially distance learning things. But 30-pound cardstock, since like 30-pound cardstock is like the sweet spot. Doesn't jam up printers either. Pete, anything to add?
No, we'll just keep making more fun stuff. If people have ideas, they can.
There you go. Now, one other thing too is our maker tape does, and on the kits we have, does come with this wax paper backing on it, which is why it's really, really good to cut a big chunk off and give them to, say, kids in a take-home set. We've helped a lot of schools put together little baggies of take-home materials, either breaking down bigger kits or using stuff they have already with some of our stuff to send home. Same with libraries and some museums as well, just because it works really well. And they only need about a foot of tape. Most of these things here, I mean, 6 inches to like a foot just to be on the safe side of tape. There you go per child. And in our big classroom set, we give 130 feet of tape, 2 65-foot rolls, 20 meters, give or take on the feet, 120 LEDs, 40 batteries. So you can probably end up making more activities than just the 40. But anywho, that's the gist of things with these activities. I mean, I can make another card, but it's just the exact same thing again. But we do seriously recommend, if you're looking for a take-home science activity, something arts and craftsy. Heck, if you want to put something up on your wall that lights up, make a poster, make a decoration that lights up, a big Rudolph poster on your cork board with a light up nose, and the kids can make a switch, turn things on and off every day. We just used brass brads the other day to make a fun switch. Brass brads and paper clips are one of my favorite ways to make a switch, just back and forth, or even just make a cardboard switch with maker tape on it with a brass brad like this as your pivot point. Again, really easy, fun things to do that can be holiday themed to make it a little more interesting for this time of year, or, you know, decorative in the classroom. So I'm gonna say, hey, Jordan, any questions out there in teacher land?
No. I did notice that there was some audio cut out for a short period of time for our attendees, so I definitely apologize about that.
No.
But we did get it back, so it was rather quick. Yeah, and I also wanted to say that, you know, thank you guys for everybody for coming today. Thank you, Josh, for presenting. You did a great job. Some different activities that we can use for flashy designs. I am going to put in the comment section the links to different products if you are interested in those. We do have classroom kit, small group kits. We have the conductive tape in large and the smaller roll. Again, that's the 1/4 inch, which is what he's using right now, or the 1/8 inch, which could be used for some other different various projects, especially with Legos, which is pretty cool.
We'll have to do that soon, do some Lego activities soon. We just, this the crafty time of year is now, so we kind of figured we'll do some Lego stuff later soon.
Yeah. All right. My name is Jordan Nelson. I'm the Customer Engagement Manager at Nasco. I was your host today, and thank you guys for everybody that's doing the good job you're doing teaching. I know it's very difficult times right now with everything going on, and it's getting closer to the holidays. So definitely enjoy the families and the time that you have. If you do want to get a hold of me, my email address is engage@nasco.com, nascoeducation.com. I'll put that into the chat right there, just in case you never need to get a hold of me. Love to hear from you. I did get some questions that came through here, Josh. I just wanted to kind of get through that again. They want to know, hey, can you show how to make a switch on one of them really quick? Can you demonstrate that really quickly?
Sure. So I'll do, oh, this is not the right thing. Let me just grab I'll grab a piece of paper right here. So an on and off switch is really just a break in the circuit. Just got a little piece of paper right here and show you. So we're just gonna take a piece of scrap paper, like let me get me sure I'm back in frame here. And got a piece of paper, You just got a piece of scrap paper here. You just want to break the circuit in one of these spots, either here or here. So what you want to do is just, this is a little bit bigger than probably necessary, but just a piece of paper that can easily bend. And what we're going to do is we'll just run the maker tape. Let me grab some here. And I always like to start from the flip side. We're just going to make a little easy on and off. So we're just going to take a little scrap piece of paper, and again, some thicker paper. This is just printer paper, which is never that great for crafting. We're just going to wrap it around, start like near the fold at the base. Wrap it around. And then, if I can do this properly, we're going to come down here. So we've got, essentially, it's a hinge, and that hinge will come down and over the LED leg. So we got this spot right here, as long as it's making contact like so, little hinge. We're going to cut this off, and then we would then just start tape down here as well, and then go over to our battery. So that, here, I'll add some tape on here just to show it off. This would then go to say like the bottom of where the battery is. So when this goes down, it completes that circuit like so. Alternatively as well, something you could do is, if you want to have the kids really think things up, you can also say, put a piece of tape on this side here. So of course a card folds over. So you have a spot where when you press everything together, the piece of tape here bridges that connection there. Because really a switch is just, it's a break in the circuit. Switch is on, like something is on, switch is off. Just there's some connection there. That works pretty well. And with a brass brad and a paper clip, you can literally stick a brad, since paper clips are obviously conductive, you can, as long as things are all touching, you can actually run some maker tape over to your brass brad, which then conducts electricity through the brass brad to the paper clip, and then just have it from one side to the other. I hope that answered that question. I mean, there's a couple of easy ways to doing switches. I like this because it's a very great visual representation. Something's off, something's on. Open, closed circuit, sorry, open, I'm getting my things backwards. Yeah, closed circuit, open circuit. No, I had it backwards, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
anyway,
you had it backwards. Yeah, that's
my
an open
brain's
circuit.
going back.
Closed,
Anyway,
it's down.
but you could do, actually probably want to do it on this side, to be honest, because there's more space there. But that's a really, really easy way of showing a switch. It's one of my favorites just because it's so simple. It's so simple. Like, oh yeah, things are open, things are closed. It's very visually apparent. It's a hinge. And using some thicker paper than this would definitely be kind of like this stuff. This is more that 50-pound cardstock. But again, 30 pounds like the sweet spot. It's like the best thing we found to go through like most printers without like jamming them up. But that's an easy way of doing a switch. And especially for kids, or just putting a piece, leaving a gap in here and then putting a piece of tape over here so that when this closes, it'll close that gap. Same thing, just tape up here, gap in here. Just gotta line things up. So that's the easy way of doing it. So yay. Anything else, Jordan?
I don't think so. I think we answered all the different questions. Again, thank you guys and everybody for attending this webinar. We definitely want to make sure it's time conscious for your needs. I did want to mention one last thing. In the handout section, there is templates. If you haven't had a chance to go there, download those templates. We have a couple different lessons that you could use with paper circuits, series and parallel circuits. And I even added a template from last week, which is our no-sew conductive bracelets. I figured that'd be a great one during this time period too. So if you have any other different projects that you're interested in, or you think that maybe we should do just to kind of demonstrate, we are more than willing to do that. We're open to ideas. Love to share ideas for you guys, especially during the holiday times and as you're closing up this year. I did want to mention that we are going to be taking a break at some point here. Let me look at the calendar really quickly. Yes, so next week, because it is the holiday season, that we are going to be taking a break on the 25th, and we will resume again on the 2nd. So there won't be an episode next week, but look out for the registration for December 7th. It's going to be at 4 p.m. Central Time, and we're going to be doing some more awesome holiday themes. Yeah, and so we're going to be doing some great projects, great templates to share. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. If not, we look forward to seeing you on the 2nd. Handouts, yes, Nilda. If you look on the right-hand side under handouts, if you should be on your control panel, there should be 4 different documents that I put there for you to be able to download. So should be there readily accessible for you to download. If you don't, and you can't find them, for whatever reason, make sure to reach out to me at engage@nascoeducation.com right there on the screen, and I'd be more willing to hook you up. All right. Well, I think if there's no more questions, we appreciate you coming. Thank you so much. Stay warm, stay safe. We'll see you on December 2nd. Take care, everybody.